So the transform center is, that looks like a tiny number. It looks like a 0, -4, -26. So -4, -26. So 0, -4, -26. And the box X, Y, and Z is so where should the center of this be? It should be so the width is supposed to be the Y, and the height is supposed to be the Z. So somehow the center is at -4, -26. Where did that get set? I guess we are converting X and Y, and we're supposed to be at -80, -512. -80, -512. So we got -80, -512. And let's see, what is this calculator? -4 divided by 4 divided by 26 is 0.5, and 80 divided by 512 is 1.5. So they are correct in their ratios. That is the correct location for the box. So the box center is supposed to be wider than it is tall, and we have it lower down, so that's why this is greater. So yes, this is actually the box center translated properly, and the impact points and all those things had an X which was like -4, and so that's probably because our Y is getting rotated around, so it's like over on one of those locations. So if all else fails here, if the sweep doesn't work, I should at least be able to do ray traces on all the points and figure out what they actually are. It's going to be more of a pain in the ass than I thought. Man, this sucks! Ah, man. So we have a box center off of each one of these damn things. And we need to add that center to our actual objects before the sweep in order to get the actual position for the sweep for the object. Man, how are we going to get that? I mean, I guess I could add the centers based on the actors that are being passed in and their transforms. And do that inside of the physics sweep and be like, well, you're a physics thing, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to need to take a short break here. So, awesome. So I guess we're gonna get back to the amazing world of figuring out what the fuck is wrong with our physics. All right. It's a bit colder now that it's 1 in the morning, and I'll probably be streaming for another hour or so. I'm not gonna try to murder myself today. I might try to murder myself tomorrow, but jeez. Too much physics. But basically, what we're working on now is we have run into the gigantic problem that the geometry that we are trying to sweep is not actually sweeping properly. And so what we need to do is we need to change all of this shit to actually use a transformed center, and then we need to actually return a hit value that is proper. So and the way we can do that is by I think changing this starting position when you move it, when you pass it in, we'll change it behind the scenes inside of our physics utils. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to need a few things to do that. So I'm actually going to throw this off on my other screen because I'm going to copy a few things. So physics utils is going to actually need to incorporate some of the stuff from the physics engine. What a freaking concept, right? So we're going to need to write is a get actual center function, I think. Let's do a static f vector get center for primitive, and we're going to pass in a uprimitive component. Actually, it's just going to be a get center for physics component, so it's going to be upay for physics component comp, and we're also going to pass in an f vector pause in there. So it's going to basically, we're passing in a constant vector, which is the current center, and we're going to return the adjusted center. So we're going to get like get corrected position for primitive. And we're going to be calling that from all the things. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the component body setup aggregate geometry, and our aggregate geometry is going to have something on it. It's going to have convex elements, box elements. So what the fuck is a spheral element? A spiral element? I don't know what that is. But basically, we're going to do like if we need to get the aggregate geometry, so we're going to do like fk aggregate geo, and that's going to be comp m body setup ag geom. So if comp is null pointer or comp m body setup is null pointer, we will return center. Otherwise, we're going to grab the aggregate geometry, and we're going to check. So if geo.boxelements.num is greater than 0, else if geo dot convex elements dot num. So we're not going to support absolutely everything. That sphere elements dot num is greater than 0 else. So we got sphere and all that stuff. So basically we're going to grab the first element off of the array. So like we're going to do box is, you know, geo.boxElements sub 0, and we're going to return. We want the box, and then we want to transform the box into the space. So we're going to do like comp, like get transform, get world transform. Can we get the world transform of a freaking thing? Is it like get local, get socket world look? Yeah, come on, let's throw me a bone here. So it's like get transform for primitive component world let's see, transform, get component transform from body instance called to get the component to world transform from the body root body instance. This needs to be virtual since f body instance. So let's just, it's the actor equals comp get owner. So yeah, if actor equals null, yeah, we should just do this too. So we need f transform, trans equals actor get transform, and we're going to need to transform this thing in there. So it's going to be trans dot like set translation, and we're going to set that to f vector 0 vector. All right. So we're going to do box dot center. So we're going to return. So we basically have an f vector center, and we're going to set center to something. So we're going to set this to the center of the box here. Why are you pissed off? Const f vector equals f vector. Oh, come on, give me a freaking break here. This is not a. Alright, that is a const one. So new center. So we're gonna have this geo dot convex elements dot sub 0. What are convex elements? They're fk on fk convex address geo dot center. Yeah, so new center equals geo lm box. Geo has none of these, so we need the lm. So the center will be there. Otherwise, this is going to be geo dot sphere lms sub 0 dot center. So new center equals that. So then what we're going to do, we're basically going to say new center equals trans dot transform vector new center, and it's going to be center. We're going to return center plus new center. So that should be the correct center for this piece of geometry for the primitive. So we should do the sweep shapes. Yeah. So it's going to be sweep component. So basically it's going to be f vector actual center equals get corrected position for primitive, and we're going to pass in our primitive and pause, and actual center is going to be like that. So that's pretty much what we should be doing. So we should actually be sweeping in the correct position, and our hits and all the rest should be properly done now. Now we need to do the overlaps for the components. Again, there are two of them. There's an actual center here, and yes, this is the shape. So that should give us the actual things based on what I know. So we can probably get rid of some of these box goodies here and get rid of those headers that we don't need. Man, this has been a journey today. Hopefully we're getting somewhere and we're not just digging a hole even further into the dirt. Though we are learning a lot about random physics shit with Unreal, which, well, counts for something, right? Man, all the things. Oh, man. So at least now our sweeps should have all the things in them. So, at least one of the things we should have now is Fat Sack not halfway buried into the frickin' ground for no damn reason. And of course that's not the actual case. So let's go to our discover physics state. So we're going to get our thing. So our components are not null, so our position is this, and our actual center is going to be 0. Oh, come on, give me a frickin' break here. So it's 53590 5610 is the initial, and then our actual center has been set to 5385.6 and 5583. So we have gone down a bit, and we have gone to the left by 5. So we have hit the shortest distance. The last distance is 399. Let's see, our impact point is at negative X location, and our normal and all that stuff is there. Impact normal is basically 1. That doesn't look like a normalized normal. I mean, we've got our trace started at 4. That's not where our trace start should have started, should it have? 5385 5610. Yeah, that's not the correct trace start at all. The trace start should have started. It's just fucking broken, isn't it? Like, instead of doing a sweep, we can't do a fucking sweep here. The math is wrong. Like, the trace start should be. Alright, well, 4.5 should be actually okay. The Y is 53585.6, which is what we translated our position to be. And yeah, the trace start is starting at like. So basically, we should be taking this location and the trace start, and that's how we know where to move our character. It's basically the difference between location and trace start. Surface normal, of course, is just wrong. Surface normal should be. Surface normal is not this. Surface normal. Well, it might actually be that. That might actually be correct. So the position is going to not be the impact point. Like, we have the location, but well, we don't actually want the location. We want the impact point is actually going to be the start. It's going to be, yeah, location minus last dot start. Trace start. Plus position. That's going to be the vector from location from trace start to location, and then we add that to the position. So position plus that vector is going to be the actual impact point that we care about. And x on the impact point should always be 0, because our location and trace start should be good. So we're going to take the impact point, we're going to add the surface normal times the penetration distance, which is going to be 1, and that's going to be our position. And that should be fine. Just gonna put ourselves on the right ground, why don't we? So the actual center is gonna be lower and to the left. It's lower by 30 and it's to the left by 5. So the impact point is 538. Let's see, this is the impact point is 535875219.9. So we've actually moved to the left a little bit, is what it looks like. Because we're moving off of the surface normal by a small margin. And we're not overlapping anything on our overlaps, so we're setting our position to that. Well, it doesn't look like it's going far enough. Like, we're not actually moving far enough in the Z direction when we start. See, actor transform, translation we set to 0. What's it? Scale 3D is 1. Rotation is this, so the box is. Alright, what is this crap? Geo box elements 1100. What in the hell? We have 1100 box elements? There's no way that's right. Primitive. Body setup. Aggregate geometry. Box elements is 1. And the center should be 4, 0, negative 26. Alright, so we got, yeah, negative 4, negative 26. So we're going to go, wait, transform the new center. It should not be like this, it should be a Y direction. Like the transform should have the rotation in there. Yeah, like it's got a rotation on that. The actual center. I mean, so it's basically 0. And we went to the left by 4, and we went down by 30. But it's not far enough. Like our sweep is not doing what it should. So it's got this negative 4, negative 26 in there. And yeah, it looks like it added it in the wrong frickin' direction. Because you can see here it's got the X set up and the Y isn't set up at all. We didn't move in the axis that would actually do anything. I don't get it. Why the hell is Unreal fucked up? Why the hell doesn't Unreal support sweeping primitive components? Like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. Hey ZDocs, how's it going? I am struggling with finding out why Unreal does not like to actually do things like raycasting properly and sweeping geometry, which is just Well, it basically boils down to, like, you would expect, like, a physics engine that you make an object inside of that physics engine that you could then move that object inside of that physics engine and it would move and stuff like that, like kind of the basics. That's why you have physics engines. But this is basically, we've got a primitive object on FatSack, which is a box, and that box is supposed to be his body. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to collide that box with the world. And kind of the idea that we had was, okay, well, Unreal 4 has very good physics. So what we're going to do is, if we do show collision on this guy, you can see he's got a box right there on him. Well, the issue is that Unreal is actually not working properly with that box because FatSack has multiple collision boxes. He's got 2 collision boxes on him. And because they're not root components for an actor, they just don't work. They just literally do not work properly for casting through the world. Which sucks because I'm trying to move this guy around using, sweeping collisions. And if I can't do that, well, that's hot garbage. Because I need to be able to collide with those things too. I'm not really sure how to fix it because, if I can't sweep them against the world, then I can't sweep other objects against them either. Because they're in the wrong place. Well, they're not in the wrong place. Are they? It's just that the ray tracer isn't working properly. Or is it really that I'm doubly screwed here? Well, that is the local shape. That is the correct thing. It's supposed to be transformed by the global pose, which has a Q of set and a P of that. And this is going to be a P of sed. That is the local shape. The shape rotation is 0, which is do I need to rotate this thing? Is that something I need to do? Maybe the rotation needs to be set up? I need to grab the rotation of the parrot. I mean, I expect it to get the parent's rotation as well, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's part of why this is not working. So we are calling overlap component S. So yeah, let's get these sorts of things. Let's do rotation 0, 0, 0, and if shape get owner it's not equal null pointer, rotation equals shape get owner get transform get rotation. We'll do the same thing for and we'll see. Because maybe the sweep is messed up. The rotation is still 0? What? So we're doing sweep component ester. Yeah, but I've been also working on stuff for quite a while today, so That's why I'm not super talkative, because I'm kind of just burned out on a few of these things right now. Fixing the build. Nah, we're working on horribly frustrating raycasting Unreal 4 C++ update. Oops. Fixing the build, that's not what I put. Moobot, you're wrong. That's better. Alright, so the rotation has been set properly. On sweep multi. Down to here. We do have a shape rotation. So it is going to rotate this shape before it does it. Well, Fatsack is now actually flying above things for some reason. And this is trace tag. Oh, dash. So we're trying to figure out exactly how we can throw this dude onto the right spot. Oh man. So it at least looks like, I guess this is what it's tracing. Looks like it's a little bit offset though, doesn't it? Like its y coordinate is off by just a little bit, and its z coordinate is off by another little bit as well. Maybe I just wasn't applying the correct rotation to this thing, because this looks like we set it wrong, and we had adjusted our center because we thought our centers were screwed up. And maybe it was just the rotation that was screwed up, not the center. So why don't we try just returning center here. I hadn't taken a closer look at this thing actually earlier. At the ray trace thing, the raycast debugging thing, I didn't see it actually doing the sweep test earlier. That would have been pretty freaking handy. So that looks like it's actually doing the correct trace. And we set our penetration distance to 10. So let's set our penetration distance to a much lower value. And I think we might have just solved one of our problems. Oh man, this is just slow progress getting all this stuff working properly. Man, what a day today. We're getting there though. We're getting there. It's slow. It's slow, but as I say, with enough blood you can paint a picture. You just keep banging your head against the wall.